Hi folks, here we are down in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We're right downtown Chattanooga, and this is the Coker Museum right here. So there's lots of cars in here. I think there's about 100 cars. Lots of really nice stuff. There's duesenberg, there's early race cars, Mercer, Stutz, all kinds of motorcycles. There's a whole wall of early motorcycles. There's 32 Fords, you name it. There's all kinds of stuff to see, so just enjoy the video and we'll get in there and start looking. Well folks, we'll jump into one of the main rooms here. We got all kinds of stuff up on the racks. Looks like somebody's working on a 34 Ford here. You can see the dash and the garnishes over there. Must be another one of their projects getting together. Here's a 36 Woody wagon here, Ford. You'll notice all kinds of advertising on the walls, hanging from the ceilings, all over the place. There's stuff everywhere here. Got some Model A's up on top. There's a 28 or 9 Roadster right there, the red one. And we got a shoebox Ford on the bottom. Nice little custom car, kind of a light copper color to it. See all the modern powertrain under the hood of that one. Really nice car, well done. And we'll just walk along here, show you what there is. Got an old Harley here with a sidecar. Notice all kinds of bikes and stuff up in there. This is a really nicely restored Harley here with the original sidecar. You don't see very many of those. I found one of these early sidecars at one point at a junk pile out in South Dakota, and you notice this one is South Dakota right there, 1917 on the license plate. So Corky made it all over the place to get this stuff, but there are a couple South Dakota vehicles here. That motorcycle and this one, look at that, Huron, South Dakota, 1929 to 41. So both those are from our home state and they ended up out here. There's all the history on the signboard there. If you want to pause on that, you can read it. Model T. Started off with a Model T anyway. It's a Frontiac conversion. And you can see all kinds of stuff over here. Got a 55 Chevy two-door hardtop. Another Model A up on top. Here's the Chevy. A little closer look on this one. Nicely restored there. And we got a Corvette convertible here. And kind of a patina 55 Chevy. It looks like an older restoration. Paint's kind of worn here and there. And that one's a convertible. There's the Corvette again. You can see the Firestone sign up on the wall there too. Pretty nice. Another Model A up. A couple more Model A's up on top there. And it looks like a 32 Roadster pickup up there. Looks like kind of a custom job. But all kinds of stuff. Got a 33 hot rod up there, Roadster. And we'll jump down on the bottom here. Look at this thing. You won't see one of these every day. That one is a Marmon. The Marmon Wasp. That tells all about it, 1911. It's an old racing car, and that thing is nice. He's got a lot of early racing cars. Here's another one here. We'll try to show you as many of the sign plaques as we can. 1911 Lozier, tells all about it there. Built in New York. So those are some pretty impressive cars right there. And over on this side we got a 1932 Ford Woody wagon here, patina car right there. Good looking one. And we'll jump over here. Here's their paint booth. So they do a lot of their work right here in house. And you can see to the left here, there goes Corky Coker himself, but there's a Honest Charlie right there. That's the hot rod parts that he sells, as well as Coker tire. Got a little flathead there, Ford flathead. All kinds of different car parts and hot rod parts along in here. You can see they got guys working there full time. There's their woodworking shop back in there. A lot of the early cars take a woodworker to get the bodies back together. A lot of wood in them. Got a Ford dash there. Got another nice wood. That's showing the wood graining on the dashes there. And another flathead right there. Notice all the early bicycles up there too. A few Schwinn's. That's an Indigo bike there. You bounce up and down to make those go. We've seen a few of those around. Get a Model T up there, brass arrow one. And that area that says warehouse is the main area, but first we're going to show you what's over on this side. You can see all kinds of, here's an Excelsior straight 8 engine. Look at the little, show you the tag on that, prototype engine right there. Look at all the model cars. We got a nice Buick demonstrator. It's a cutaway body, 1936 Buick there. That's pretty cool. I don't know if that's quarter scale or what size it is, but it's a pretty cool build. Or a body, I should say. All kinds of stuff in these cases. Heaters, tools, oil cans. And over here is where he just has kind of a catch-all. So that's employees only over in that part. You can see even a whole chassis up on the wall there, pretty cool. Here's a cutaway engine here, a little V8, small block. And you can see Corky again over there. He's waiting for his lunch date right there. Looks like they were headed off to lunch. I could hear him talking. I did talk to him about he bought a Diamond T truck cab from us a few years ago. And they haven't got to it yet, but that's one of their projects coming up. They're going to put a Cummins diesel, I think, in it. Got all kinds of early motorcycle gas tanks in there. Unfortunately, there's music in here, so that's why we're doing the talk over rather than talking live while we're here. That's pretty cool. A streamlined little side, or a little car there of some sort. Got another interesting engine right there. Hall Scott right there. And a little Chevy hot rod underneath. Well, maybe it's a Ford cab, but a Chevy grill on that hot rod underneath, that little rat rod. And we'll just kind of pan around, show you some of the signage, artwork on the walls, tools. There's a AC plug cleaner there. And just kind of walk down this wall, trying to show you everything we can in here. And we're going to go back in there. That's the main room here. This is really cool. It's a small scale roadster. 1928 there it says. But look at the absolute wall of early motorcycles. And this room is full of nice cars, early cars. And here's a Mercedes right here. But we'll show you the wall here as well. We've got a Harley, 27 Harley there, 26 above it. Just all kinds of nice early motorcycles up on the wall. Indians, Harleys, Excelsiors, you name it. Mostly American bikes in through here. There's some more Harleys. Got the Flying Merkle sign up there. Notice all the signs too that they had custom made for all the different early motorcycle brands up on the wall. Here's a Brass Era T Roadster. And here's something. That's a 1914 Stutz Bearcat. Tells you all the information. Those were top of the line racing cars back at that time. Very valuable today. Highly sought after. Been collectible for a long time, but they're worth mega bucks. And here's a Mercer here. They were compatible with a Stutz. Really good stuff back in the day. There's a Mercer. Most of these are kind of like barn find, sweaty condition. Just how you like to see them. 1918 Mercer. That's that one there. That's a real valuable one there as well. Notice most of these are right-hand drive, these early cars. There's an American Simplex. 2-stroke, 4-cylinder. Kind of interesting. 1908. But just, this place is a must-go if you're down in Chattanooga. There's Excelsiors up there. There's a Pierce way up on top. Look at the interesting style on that inline 4 motor on that one up top there. Pretty cool stuff. And he has fun with these too. He gets a lot of this stuff out and drives it, has a lot of fun with them. See the whole row of racing cars, and we'll pan around here, show you all the other stuff, and we're going to walk through this whole room, but there is quite a collection of stuff here. Look at the old Hudson neon and porcelain sign, dealership sign. There's some Ford tractor signs up there. There's airplanes. All kinds of stuff. We'll keep walking through here. This is a really impressive Thomas Flyer, the red one. Nice big Thomas Flyer. Look at the mascot on there. It's like a full bird there with the wings spread. Big brass lights with magnifiers in them. Give you a little more light on the road, I guess. But we'll finish up this side here. There's another one here. Notice no fenders on these. Something come off the tire, you have to watch out. Some of these had a monocle windshield, but some of them don't have any windshield. Look at all the Excelsiors. There's a lineup of Excelsiors down the middle of that wall there. Here's another one. Interstate Gentleman's Roadster, 1913. Look at that, 389 cubic inches back then. Straight six. Tells all about it there. You can pause on any of these signs you want to. Some of these, like this one, I've never seen one. That one is left-hand drive. The Interstate. There's your badge on there. Muncie, Indiana. Interstate. And here's a Bentley here. That's pretty wild. 1928 Bentley. That's an imported race car there. Just kind of panning around, trying not to miss too much. Got some Hendersons over there. Henderson motorcycles. And we got a few more race cars down here on the bottom. That's really cool there. Looks like a Buick 8 in that one. There's your motor. Good looking car. Notice the headlights too. That's really a great styling with that one. Good looking car. There's your E&J Type 20 headlights. Those are real valuable if you see those around. Here's another one, made in Chattanooga, Nyberg. So this one's in its home city here. 1910 Nyberg, 50 horsepower Indy race car. Tells all about it right there. And we'll keep walking down the road. Here's an Overland, 1910 Overland right there. And all kinds of this. Look at the scooter up there, that's pretty wild. Quite a impressive wall of bikes. I can't get over that. This is the kind of stuff you like to see. I mean, he's gone to Hershey for years and bought up a lot of this stuff. Gone all around the country, made a lot of connections, found a lot of cool stuff. There's a National in the back there, Model T here to your left. Another brass Model T Roadster right there. There's the National back in the corner. Really an impressive collection. Look at the American underslung there. The tires are almost as tall as the hood. That was their styling. Notice the upside down frame there. You notice the springs are on top of the frame. Their idea was to get it as low to the ground as they could. And that was really ahead of its time, really. So you can see the interesting design there. You'll notice all the other cars, the frames are on the top of the springs like this. And notice how that car is probably 6 or 8 inches taller on the hood. And that's a simplex. So it's quite an unusual car, that underslung. Here's a big simplex. And we'll just keep scooting down this road and showing you all the stuff here. BF Goodrich sign up on the top. Neon. Nice Sinclair porcelain. Here's a Franklin here. Air-cooled Franklin. Notice the funky windshield too. 1919 Franklin. Now I don't know where he got this one, but I do know that Pioneer Auto in South Dakota had one of these, because we saw it. I don't know, we might have even driven that one. I had that funky windshield like that. So I'm not sure if that's where he got that Franklin or if he got it somewhere else. There's another impressive Phaeton there. Really cool stuff. And the condition is like, most of this is just nice original. There's some restored ones as well, but you know, it's quite a collection. Here's another big impressive early touring car here. And this one is a Mitchell, 1914 it says. 6-cylinder. And here's another one with the low design. This one's a Winton, 1917 Winton. So they had a good looking low design too. Tells all about it right there. Winton was really a respected brand in the early days. Here's an auto car truck. 1912 right there. That's really cool. Transportation. I guess it's like a bus maybe. And we'll jump over this side. Look at the Bentley right there. That must be his daily driver. Got that parked in here. If you can afford it, why not, right? Look at that. There's a Duesenberg right there. There's a Simplex, the red one. And a Lozier. And a Pierce Arrow. That's a big, impressive brass era Pierce Arrow. Notice the jump seats in the middle too. So that one's a 7-passenger. And we got another unusual car there. And that one's a Morgan. So if maybe somebody in the video can tell us about some of these cars, you know, comment on the video, tell us what's interesting about some of these. There's a lot of really cool stuff, and I'm sure there's guys out there that know some history on some of these, more than what I'm telling you in the video. Notice the size of the headlights on it. Things are huge. Big brass lights. Here's the Lozier. Good looking car right there. And the Simplex one more time. That's got some monster brass lights on it too. Notice they all have a cookie tray under them. These cars back in this age leaked a lot of oil. I mean, even as good as when they were new, they were using a lot of oil, leaking oil. It's just how it was back then. They weren't too worried about it. Here's the Duesenberg. It's 1928. That's a full classic right there. Big money car, you know, actors, actresses, politicians and stuff had those back in the day. You would have had to have a lot of money, been a very expensive car back then. There's a Marmon here, model 34C, 1924. Another classic. And got a great looking Packard right here. Notice the classic Packard styling. The donut chaser up on the mascot there. That one's a convertible sedan. Good looking Packard. If you got classics, you really got to have Packard included in there. Here's another one here. So this must be his classic area here, 1936 Packard. There's your mascot. Great looking details. Notice the mohawks down the headlights. Winter front grille. And we'll jump over here. Got an old gas pump there, and these are some sort of foundry molds or something there. Restrooms back in there. Look at the Fisk Tire Boy up in there. Advertisement piece. And we got some really cool trucks over here. Here's a Federal. Notice this one's a Firestone tire delivery truck right there. So that's an early Federal. 1921 right there. Fast Express. And here is a white. This is a big open bus. And this might be a Yellowstone bus, I'm not positive. Yeah, Yellowstone bus right there, 1925. That's really cool. And here's another big, I think this is also a Yellowstone bus. There's two of them here. Look at these. You never see stuff like this. Yeah, Yellowstone bus, 14 passenger, 36 white. Got a 56 California plate on it. Not only is there one, there's two, and I think the tops fold back, I believe, so you can see out the top of them. There's another one there. You just will not see stuff like this. This is once in a lifetime, this kind of collection, made in Cleveland right there. Really, really cool buses there. And here's a Diamond T. Now this is what I was talking to Corky about here, the owner of this place. This is one he had, and he bought my cab. This one's a 41 right there. He bought my cab because he didn't want to take this one apart. I mean, this thing is way too nice. He's going to make a diesel hauler out of one. Notice a little race car in the back. And he didn't want to take that one apart, so he bought, I had one that was just a cab with a nose, so he bought that to put on a different chassis. Here's a Federal. I think we met up at Hershey, and that's where he got it from me. There's the Federal truck right there. Look at the hand signal up behind the driver. That one looks like a reproduction, but I've had some older ones like that where they're just an arrow that pops out, basically. There's another Federal. And here's a fire truck here. This is a really cool little fire truck. Try to show you the car in the back. That looks like an American Austin Bantam. And this one's an American LaFrance fire truck. Notice the big bell on there. And here's another big touring car. This thing's a monster. 1913 Cadillac right there. Made in Detroit. Nice looking barn find Cadillac. Just don't see stuff like that. You know, you see them all highly restored and stuff, or really rough, but to find them like that is kind of unusual. And here's another white. This one's a Chattanooga Whiskey Company. Look at all the whiskey barrels on the back. That was a delivery truck. Notice how it has white stamped right into the metal there too. Kind of interesting. And here's some more factory molds and stuff. Looks like they have a stage here with a jukebox if they ever get live entertainment here. And there's a bunch more motorcycles on this side. Got a Harley on the bottom there. There's a Nimbus, 1953 Nimbus. Don't know that I've seen one of those before. Got a dual seat for a passenger. So there are a few imported bikes up on top here. There's another Harley there. There's a Honda right there, Honda CB350. You see those around here and there. Sorry for the lights in the windows there. It's kind of hard to catch those bikes up at the top with that light coming in like that. Glaring off the camera, but best I can do at the moment. Here's a nice barn find Harley right there. Look at that. Really nice. Speedometer right there on top of the tank. Really interesting bike there. Notice the old, I don't know if that's a repair or what on that neck on that. Kind of interesting. There's an Indian, 1919 Indian in there. Another early Indian up there. And he's got the big Indian sign. Here's a Camaro convertible here. Got the red line tires. Blue stripe up it, blue interior, nice looking car. RS model. Show you the bikes that are in the back there. And some more Indians back there, a couple little pedal cars, or maybe they're electric, I'm not sure, those two cars up there, but pedal car style anyway. Big neon sign there, that's really cool. Off a big, might be off the factory even, I don't know. There's a Mustang convertible. Look at the AC under the dash there. Nice looking little Mustang. Just kind of going through here slowly just so you can see everything. A couple more Indians. Look at the inline 4-cylinder motors there on the bottom. Kaiser Fraser sign up there too. He likes the neon signs apparently. And here's a Ford Thunderbird convertible. And it looks like we got a Wayne 60 right there, gas pump. There's your Kaiser Fraser sign. A couple more bikes down here. This one's a Whizzer, 1947 Whizzer. Looks like it's on a Schwinn frame. And another little Simplex there. From there we'll jump over to the center part. We'll just show you this Thunderbird real quick. That's a good looking T-Bird right there. And we'll finish up this room in this aisle here. Show you the Thomas Flyer one more time. Here's another Nyberg. Maybe somebody can tell us some history on these Nybergs, because I haven't seen any of these, if there's something local to this area or what. Same with the Lozier. Be interesting to get some people's inputs on these. You can see that one's made in New York, like the one we saw earlier. But they are really cool cars. And it'd be fun to know a little something about them. There's a Thomas Flyer in the back there. And we've got a 56 Chevy right here, convertible. And a Ford pickup here. Good looking little pickup. I've got a couple similar to that. I've got a 32, a 33, and a 34. Here's the International here. I guess that was owned by Corky's son there. It tells a little memorial there about it. Pretty cool in the red, white, and blue. And we got another Buick here. That's a nice looking Buick. Kind of a deep red color, 54 Buick. Hard top right there. And here's another big impressive car here. Here's all the information about it. It's 1927. Got a LeBaron body on it. Sorry. That looks like almost a Duesenberg quality car. That's really impressive. So anyway, that's kind of showing you this room. Really impressive. Definitely worth the visit. If you're in the area, come check it out. All kinds of really cool stuff. And we'll finish it up in the other room. We've got to go back into the other room here, but just kind of scanning over this stuff one more time. You hate to take your eyes off this stuff before you leave, huh? Take a quick scan around. In case we missed anything, show it all to you. So this is Chattanooga, Tennessee, at the Coker Tire Collection, or Corky Coker Collection, and it was at the tire place here in Chattanooga. Now we're in the last room we're going to do here. A little Volkswagen Beetle here, 1957. Tells about it there. Oval window, rag top. Even got a cool roof rack on it. Notice how the roof rack has to curve because of the styling of a Beetle. And we got an early engine in here of some sort. That's really cool there. That's another Hall Scott. Another big motor back in there. And we're kind of scanning around this room. Got a 32 Roadster there. It says Coker Tire on the side. Got a Jag. Good looking Jag right there. And we got an Austin Healey here. Look at the trick rider on the wall there. The Buster Brown display up there. Got the listening dog there. That was a phonograph advertisement. All kinds of headlights and different memorabilia in the cases on the wall. There's another 1928 Per Sang Bugatti replica right there. There's some engine testing equipment and stuff. Just all kinds of cool stuff everywhere you look. There's some Fat Man fold-away wheels. Some toys mixed in here and there. Got a Wyandotte, a couple Buddy L's there. There's your Sun equipment, a tester, engine tester. All kinds of carburetors and magnetos, early car parts, Thomas Flyer, brass emblem, Packard hubcaps, you name it. All kinds of cool stuff. And here's a Ferrari. Everybody ought to have one of these. Good looking little Ferrari right there. 1978 it says. There's some information on it. And we'll just kind of scoot out this way. This is a 32 Ford. Going to show you down in there. They have a lot of their machining, and this is where they rebuild their engines and brakes and transmissions all in this room. So they got quite a restoration shop going. Well, I hope you enjoy these kind of videos, and if you do, please subscribe, give us thumbs up, give us good comments if you haven't already, and I will catch you on the next round. Thanks for watching.